Okay, so good day class. Our next topic would be the mean for group data, wherein we have the example for the classes, the frequency, the previous examples on our frequency. So we have now completed for the midpoint, the class boundaries, the relative frequency distribution, the less than cumulative, and then the greater than cumulative frequency distributions. Okay, so there are two methods in getting the mean for group data. So pag sinabi natin group data, this is the group data wherein we have the classes and then we have the frequency. So I've discussed to you previously the ungroup and then the weighted mean. So this one would be for the group data. Okay, so the methods in getting the mean for the group data, we have the midpoint method and we have the unit deviation method. So we have the formula with the corresponding methods. Now in getting now for the midpoint method, we will be having the mean is equal to the summation of x multiplied by frequency multiplied by our midpoint. Okay, so frequency multiplied with the midpoint. So we have to get first our frequency times our midpoint. Okay, so on the first class, on the classes given below, so we have 3 times 16.5. We will be having now 49.5. Okay, so next, we have 5 and 28.5 in order for us to have 142.5, 445. Okay, so including the decimal point, we have 997.5. The next would be 903.5. And then we have 459.5. Paki-check na lang kung meron akong maling sinusulat. And then we have 177.0 for our, these are zeros. Okay, so we have 0, 0, and 0. So we have 14 times 64.5, 6 times 76.5, and 2 and 88.5. So frequency times the midpoint. Now let's get now the summation of our frequency times the midpoint in order for us to have now 3,174 for the summation of our frequency times the midpoint. So going back to our mean, so for the midpoint method, mean is equal to the summation of frequency times the midpoint divided by n. Our n is equal to 60. So we have now 3,174 divided by 60. So our mean for our midpoint method would be 52.90. So this is our final answer. Okay, so that would be mean using the midpoint method. Okay, so next, we have the unit deviation method. In order for us to get the unit deviation method, there would be some rules in getting our unit deviation method. So first, we have to get the unit deviation. In getting your unit deviation, you have to identify the highest frequency in our distribution. So the highest frequency would be 19. So the class of 19 will be having 0. Lower than that, we have now 1, 2, 3. And higher than that, we have negative values. So again, paano tayo nagkaroon ng 0 on our unit deviation? You have to identify the highest frequency in our distribution. Okay, so we are now ready to get for the frequency multiplied by the unit deviation. Okay, so including now the negative values, frequency, that would be 3 multiplied by negative 3, you will be having negative 9, negative 10, negative 11, and then we have 0, 14, and then 12, and 6. Okay, so paano nagkaroon ng value? Negative 3, frequency times the unit deviation. Paano nagkaroon ng unit deviation? Highest frequency, lahat ng nasa taas niya would be negative. Highest frequency, lahat ng nasa baba niya would be positive. Okay? It depends now on the frequency. Ma'am, paano pag parehas yung frequency? Okay, for example, we have parehas na 19. Mamimili ka doon which among the two, kung anong gagawin mo siya, kung anong gagawin mo sa kanilang 0, kung anong gagawin mo highest among the two. Pero, very minimal lang yung may parehas sila na frequency. Okay? So, frequency times the unit deviation. So, let's get now the summation of your frequency and then the unit deviation. So, we will be having an answer of 2. Including now the negative values. Okay. So, let's get the mean for the... Erasing ko muna to. Okay, so let's get the mean for the unit deviation. Now, for the formula, this is the midpoint of your highest frequency. Okay? Midpoint ng highest frequency. So, the mean using the unit division, since we have now the formula, midpoint ng highest division, we have 52.5 plus summation of frequency times the unit division, we have 2 divided by our sample size, and our class interval is equal to 12. Diba, di-discuss ko na sa mga previous na activities, sa mga previous na videos, how to compute now your class interval. Okay, again, midpoint of the highest frequency plus the summation of frequency times the unit deviation divided by our sample size, and then we have the class interval. In order for us, class interval is equal to 12. Okay, so that would be equal now into your mean is also equal to 52.90. Okay, so that is using the unit deviation for the mean. For group mean, for group data. Okay, so this one would be midpoint method. Mean is equal to the summation of frequency times the midpoint divided by our sample size. And then unit division, the midpoint of the highest frequency plus the summation of frequency times the unit division divided by the sample size multiplied with our class interval. Okay, so that would be our mean for group data. Okay, so I'll be discussing next is the median for ungroup and group data. That would be on the next video that I'll be presenting to you. So thank you for listening and good day.